1 in 100 people around you has no conscience, no guilt, no empathy. They feel no remorse when they hurt you, no shame when they lie, no anxiety when they manipulate. They look completely normal. They can be charming, successful, even lovable. And they have been studying you, your weaknesses, your needs, your fears, far more carefully than you have ever studied them. The word psychopath gets thrown around constantly, but the clinical reality is far more specific and far more disturbing than the movie version. Psychopathy is not about violence. Most psychopaths are never violent. It is about a fundamental absence, an absence of the emotional responses that make human social life possible. No fear, no guilt, no deep attachment to other people. Not suppressed, genuinely absent. Dr. Robert Hare spent 40 years at the University of British Columbia studying psychopathy. He developed the Hare Psychopathy checklist, still the gold standard for diagnosis worldwide. What he found was that psychopaths are not broken people struggling with dark impulses. They are fundamentally different in how they process the world. Where you see a person in pain, they see information. Where you feel guilt after hurting someone, they feel nothing. Or worse, satisfaction. And here's what makes this relevant to everyone. Hare estimates that roughly 1% of the general population meets the clinical criteria for psychopathy. That's 80 million people worldwide. But in certain environments, corporate boardrooms, politics, finance, the percentage is dramatically higher. Because the traits that define psychopathy, charm, fearlessness, ruthlessness, the ability to make hard decisions without emotional interference, are traits that get rewarded. Here's what's different inside a psychopathic brain. In most people, the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, activates strongly when we see someone in distress. This is empathy at the neurological level. You feel a version of what they feel. It is automatic and involuntary. In psychopaths, this response is dramatically reduced or absent entirely. Brain imaging studies show that when psychopaths are shown images of people in pain, their amygdala shows almost no activation. They can describe what they see intellectually, but they don't feel it. It's like being colorblind to human suffering. But here's the part that surprises most people. Psychopaths are not cognitively impaired. Their intelligence is normal or above average. Their ability to read social situations, to understand what others are feeling, is often excellent. They just don't care. Dr. James Fallon, a neuroscientist at UC Irvine, discovered accidentally during a research project that his own brain scan matched the psychopathic profile. He was functioning, successful, loved by his family. He describes it as being able to see the emotional chessboard perfectly, but not feeling any of the pieces. Psychopaths don't announce themselves. They present exactly what you need to see. In the early stages of any relationship, personal or professional, they are often the most attentive, charming, and impressive person in the room. They listen carefully. They mirror your values back at you. They make you feel uniquely understood. This is not accidental. It is a strategy. They are running a calculation that most people never consciously make. What does this person need, and how can I appear to provide it? Approval, security, excitement, validation. They identify the need and fill it precisely, until they don't need to anymore. The warning signs are consistent across cases. Behavior that seems too perfect too quickly. Stories that don't quite add up under scrutiny. A pattern of other people in their life who seem damaged or confused. a subtle but consistent tendency to never actually be at fault for anything. And most telling, a reaction to being caught or confronted that is not guilt or shame, but irritation at being inconvenienced. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." He was describing the psychopathic operating system from the outside, a way of moving through the world where other people are purely instrumental, tools, obstacles, resources. The Stoics believed that virtue, doing right regardless of personal cost, was the only true good, not because they were naive about human nature. Marcus Aurelius dealt with betrayal, manipulation, and political psychopathy his entire reign. But because they understood that a life built on using others is ultimately empty, the psychopath wins every tactical battle and loses the only war that matters. What this means practically for you. First, trust behavior over words, always. Psychopaths are exceptional with words. They are often poor at maintaining consistent behavior over time. Second, pay attention to how someone treats people who can do nothing for them. Waiters, assistants, strangers. That is the most reliable window into character available. Third, notice how someone responds to your boundaries. A healthy person accepts them. A psychopath escalates, manipulates, or withdraws to punish. That response tells you everything. 1 in 100 people processes the world without conscience. They are not monsters from movies. They are colleagues, partners, leaders, people who have learned to wear the right face for every room. Now you know what to look for. Behavior over words, consistency over charm, response to boundaries over initial impression. If this series is changing how you see people, subscribe. Next video, we go inside one of the darkest psychological phenomena in human history, the ordinary person who commits extraordinary evil. The science will disturb you. See you there.